What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Coup Connect podcast. It's Kevin Humphreys. It's Craig Humphreys, your Coup Connect producers. We're talking Big 12 football and maybe a little Big 12 basketball because we're taping this Tuesday night, and we saw some great Big 12 teams go 2-0 last night. And, we're excited for what's coming up this weekend as far as hoops and football is concerned. But Craig, BYU was off last week, so they were able to sit at home, get healthy. Hopefully, we see guys like L.J. Martin, Raider DeMooney, JoJo Phillips. Hopefully, we can see a few of these guys back in the lineup against Texas Tech. And if not against Texas Tech, then hopefully sometime down the line. I know the bye week was huge for everyone to getting healthier, not just those guys. But there was still Big 12 football that was played, Craig. So let's get into it. Let's start with some easy ones. Arizona, Colorado. Colorado looks like they've given up on this season.
Yeah, just fully. I mean, they were down 38 to 7.5, I believe. It's pretty similar to the game against Utah. Just terrible performances. I think Dion closed the post game for players. It's just a train wreck right now.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate for Colorado and for Dion, who we know is battling health issues. Just seems like there are a lot of things just not going Colorado's way right now. Arizona, on the other hand, 5 wins, 1 win away from getting to a bowl game. And they've been in just about every game they've played this season, which has been exciting to see. Craig, Arizona, BYU found out Arizona is a good football team, and I'm excited to see them kind of, maybe still shake things up for the rest of the season. Their final games are Kansas, at Cincinnati, home versus Baylor, and then at Arizona State. So they're going to be playing in some marquee Big 12 games to end the season.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, as BYU fans and the way the standings have been, circle that at Cincinnati game, probably definitely their toughest game. But I mean, Arizona's shown that they can be in these games, and they're kind of 2 plays, play against BYU, and if they had made a play late against Houston, I mean, this team could be at the top of the Big 12 conference with not that much difference in what's actually happened. So I think people might not be realizing nationwide how talented and good that this Arizona team has been.
Yeah. Another game to just hit real quick. Baylor took care of UCF 30-3. Sawyer Robertson's really good at football, turns out. And UCF is not that good at football. And then another one, Kansas beat Oklahoma State 38-21. Oklahoma State still looking for its first conference win, may not find it this season. And now let's get to the games that were interesting. Last week we talked about how we needed teams in the Big 12 to lose and teams in the ACC to lose. And Craig, we got a lot of help this weekend, starting with West Virginia going into Houston and beating them 45-35. Craig, as we were watching it happen, we could not believe our eyes, but West Virginia did it. What was your reaction when you saw, I believe West Virginia was up at least 14 points at one point during the first half. What was kind of your reaction throughout that game?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I think it was like 14-0 they got up, something like that. And it was like, okay, well, I was still expecting Houston to come back. I didn't have much faith in this West Virginia team, but at the same time, especially at Houston, but they just
14-0 started out 14-0.
Yeah, they just did not go away the entire time. And I mean, that offense looked pretty good against Houston, and they got the win. Scotty Fox Jr. had several really good plays. Pretty impressed with him. Just a huge win for that program, and that was a really big game for BYU team. looking at those standings.
100%, because a lot of the tiebreakers that we were worried about happening with a potential one-loss Houston, you know, a team was going to get left out of the Big 12 championship game with one loss potentially, but we don't have to worry about that anymore, Craig, because now there's 3 teams left in the Big 12 that have 1 or 0 losses. I will say when it was 21-21, I did not expect West Virginia to roll in the second half, and they did. They really did. They forced multiple interceptions. Let's see. Yeah, they forced 2 interceptions to start or in the third quarter that really helped break the game open for them. It was honestly just could not have been a better Saturday if you were a BYU fan. So, yeah, West Virginia. I guess they're dangerous. I guess they're dangerous with Scotty Fox Jr. But yeah, Houston's still a good football team. Obviously, took a real hit to their Big 12 championship expectations, but I mean, they're still a program that's trending up. This just now they're sidestepping a little bit around the Big 12 championship game probably. Craig, another game that had some, implications was Texas Tech at Kansas State. It's always hard going on the road when you have a ranked matchup like BYU coming to town next week. Everyone knows that it's probably where College Game Day is going if you're able to beat Kansas State. First drive of the game, Avery Johnson runs it in for a score, and you're like, oh no. Could they? Will they? Are they going to, potentially slip up and kind of take away all the drama and the hype from this Texas Tech BYU game? But no, they forced Texas Tech forced Kansas State into 6 turnovers because that's what they're really good at. And Kansas State just too many turnovers, man, will kill you. Craig, were you at all watching that game? How do you feel like Texas Tech played, and what does that tell you going into this week's matchup?
Yeah, I mean they closed very well. Talked about a bunch of turnovers. Texas Tech had some too.
Yep.
But they kind of canceled out. Jacob Rodriguez forced out 2 himself. I think he recovered 1 possibly as well. Just incredible player. So excited to see him. Of course, a little worried as a BYU fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't look invincible. They haven't looked invincible the last couple of weeks. I think BYU knows, the players know. They kind of have an idea of what they're going to need to do to win, and I think as a fan we kind of see that what they're going to have to do to not start slow, kind of stay in this game, then take the victory. But yeah, I didn't think that it was the greatest game from Texas Tech, but they showed the grit that they needed to get through it, as we've seen from BYU.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right, Craig. What this game showed me was that Texas Tech's a gettable team for sure. And, we once thought of this team as like this perfect roster with all their transfers, right? But you can move the football on them. They're going to do their darndest to turn you over. So ball security, I mean, we'll preview this game in a minute, but ball security is going to be a premium with BYU Texas Tech coming up. Kind of the Kansas State was 3-1 in their last games, and it felt like Avery Johnson was kind of starting to show some signs of improvement, but obviously Texas Tech, one of the best defenses in the country, still exposed. Avery Johnson is a guy who runs well, but when it comes down to being able to pass it and make reads, it's a little challenging for him. But maybe Kansas State is 4-5. We'll see if they can make a late season push to get into a bowl game still. Interesting, Craig. If Kansas State doesn't make a bowl game this year, there's a guy on Texas A&M staff that was their star quarterback just about 10 years ago. So with all the coaching carousel happening, I wonder if now might be the time for Kansas State to bring Colin Klein home. Just going to be interesting to watch that as we get closer to the end of the season with all the coaching carousel happening right now.
Yeah.
Another game that happened this week was Utah versus Cincinnati. And last week I talked myself into a pretzel with this game. I could not figure out who I wanted to win. And I think I ultimately decided that if Utah won, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And Craig, Utah won.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so non-competitive after kind of the early second half that it felt like Utah was just in complete control. Clearly the better team in that game, just kind of in all facets, kind of took the cheering for perspective out of it. Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew that Utah was going to win this game fairly early, and I think people expected that going into.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at the spread going into that game. It was a much wider spread than it would have appeared looking at both of these teams. But yeah, Utah rolled Cincinnati. Sorsby did not look like he was at his best. It is tough, too. Like, Cincinnati's playing a game that's typically 10-15 their time. So, yeah, I would expect you to probably not have as much juice in the second half as a Utah team just because of the time difference. But, football is football. You roll the balls. Well, you put the ball on the tee and you kick it off, and then you see what happens for 60 minutes. And, all the outside factors go away. Like, what happens on the field for 60 minutes is who you are as a football team, regardless of circumstance. But, yeah, that was a game that happened. Utah looked really good. And, Craig, they looked so good that they're now ranked number 13th in the country, according to the College Football Playoff Committee. BYU ranked 7th. Texas Tech ranked 8th. The Big 12 having 3 teams inside the top 15 was not something I was expecting from the College Football Playoff Committee.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge for the conference. I think everybody can kind of agree with that. We saw the ACC, some of their teams lose a couple of games, and also kind of their top teams below Utah. And so, of course, not really rooting for Utah and their success, just to be clear.
But for the Big 12.
For the Big 12, we were able to look at that and be happy and take some good from that. 3 teams, maybe in a wild scenario, 3 teams in the Big 12. I think more of what we're hoping for is 2. Yeah, but it's just really good to see that this conference is getting some more respect.
Absolutely. And I mean, it now sets up a scenario that I didn't know was possible, but I do think that like you said, 2 teams can get in the conference and into the playoff. And I think that honestly, unless BYU or Texas Tech slip up to a team that they're not supposed to end the season, I think both of these teams should make the college football playoff. We'll see what, hypothetically, if Texas Tech loses to BYU, which we hope happens, and then loses to BYU again in the Big 12 championship game. I'm interested to see how that would play out. Who knows if Texas Tech would even be in the Big 12 championship game?
Yeah.
Maybe we, I mean, it's unlikely, but maybe we could see Utah again.
We could.
Or potentially a rematch against Cincinnati, depending on how that game goes. Or I believe those are I guess Houston would technically have a shot, but they weren't even in the rankings, so it doesn't feel like they're really on their radar to make that big of a leap as far as rankings go. But yeah, it will be fascinating to see the end of the Big 12. If BYU and Texas Tech take care of business, they should both be in. And that's really good for the conference. Craig, you talked about the ACC teams, and before we get to them, we have probably the wackiest game of the weekend that we have to get into. You and I have already talked about this game ad nauseum, but I think we have to talk about it again. ASU Cincinnati or ASU Iowa State, excuse me. ASU Iowa State had 30 possessions. Yes, you heard that right. In a football game, there were 30 possessions in a football game. A lot of punts, a lot of turnovers, a lot of big runs. It was chaos. It was raining. The sun was shining. Craig, I think just about everything you could imagine happening on a football field happened. ASU won 24-19 without Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Sims was so unbelievably good for Arizona State, but so unbelievably bad at times. I think he had 2 fumbles and an interception. He also had a 4th down pass that was a surefire touchdown in the red zone that got batted down, turnover on downs. But he also set the ASU school record for rushing yards in a game and was really the offense in this game.
Yep.
I mean, incredibly polar performance, but did not enough to win the game in the end, although both teams kind of tried to lose this game.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a turnover palooza. It was, I mean, we talked about Jeff Sims. He had an 87 yard or 83 or 87 yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Set, longest touchdown run for ASU since 2013. Just an unbelievable game. It was on TNT, and I know a lot of people are like me, I'm still getting used to, going down to YouTube TV, going down the channel list to find TNT, on college football Saturdays. I know where it is for NBA, obviously, and now apparently they're doing college basketball, which is exciting as well. It was a little quicker of a scroll without all the ESPN channels, unfortunately. Please get that fixed before Saturday.
Did you hear about the dig that they shot at ESPN before the game?
No.
Yeah, so Adam Lefko, one of the TNT hosts, when they're about to go to the game, says, we're not gonna send you an email. We're not gonna play advertisements for you to have to get our channels back.
So what
Big
he's saying?
dig.
TBS, TNT, they're all locked up with YouTube TV for the long haul, hopefully. But ESPN, do you know how many crazy Mormons, ESPN, do you know how many crazy members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will be upset with you if ESPN, ABC, all those channels are not back Saturday morning for college game day and for the game that kicks off at 10 a.m. You've seen Fury, but you've never seen members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Fury before. Like you're going to feel it. It's going to be different. I mean, Dancing with the Stars was tonight, so I'm sure they, a different audience is now panicked about Disney channels not being on YouTube TV. But I promise you, there will be nothing like the raging fury that comes out of Utah this weekend if ESPN is not back on YouTube TV. So,
and of course they're listening to us. All the big ESPN people are of course listening to us.
And by the way, I went to the keepmynetwork.com or whatever.
Yeah.
It's there, you don't do anything. The first time I tried it, the website was broken. The second time I tried, it was just like, post about it. I'm like, all right, well, like you're advertising keepmynetworks.org, and then I go, and then it's not helpful. It's not helpful, Craig. What are we doing? I just look, that honestly, that commercial after going to their website makes me even more mad because it's just like, I mean, I created a website that looks better than that, and my website sucks. It sucks, Craig. So, yeah. Well, hopefully that all gets figured out before Saturday, or else there's gonna be a lot of angry people in Utah, I'm sure. Craig, we that that's it for the recap. Let should we give him a little college hoops? Just kind of sprinkle it in.
Sure.
Co-Pete.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Arizona beat defending national champion Florida last night, and Co-Pete, same freshman class as a guy that we might know named AJ DeBanza.
Yeah, just maybe.
Just maybe. Co-Pete had 30, 30, 33,
yeah, 30.
30 as a freshman for Arizona. I think school record.
Yep.
Correct. His name is Mr. Arizona. How about that? How about that?
Yeah, I mean, he was incredible in this game. He's not like, if you didn't watch, he's not like a shooter.
No.
Him and Jaden Bradley, who also played incredibly, returning from last year, I believe 27 points. Neither of them shot a 3-pointer in this entire game.
Yeah. Jaden Bradley had a toe on the line.
Yeah, that's true. He did make one with toe on the line.
Yeah.
But in the stat book, they didn't, and that's incredible. They still play incredibly. They have some new guys, some returning, a lot made contributions. Really fun team all across the board. And yeah, Cole Pete was the star in this game.
Yeah, Cole Pete looked good. Braden Burries was kind of, looked more like a freshman than Cole Pete did.
Yeah, and he fouled out.
Yeah, he did. Jaden Bradley looked good, like you said. Let's see. Dwayne Aristode only played 6 minutes. He's another freshman guy. I mean, they still have Toby Awaka. Krivos looked good. He's coming off an injury, first, real college basketball minutes. But Karchenkov,
yes.
Holy cow, 12 points, 10 rebounds, hit some insane shots. I mean, where did this guy come from, Craig?
I don't remember, but it was somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, Slovenia.
Yeah, I mean, I liked watching him. I was cheering for Arizona, of course, Big 12, everything. And kind of understood that Arizona doesn't have a lot of shooting. They didn't last year. They kind of needed it this year, and he might be a guy that pops off on people's radars. And I didn't know who he was coming in, but now I know.
There was one guy that we didn't really recognize. His name was Anthony Del Orso, and if you remember him from last season, babyface.
Yeah.
And this season, he's a babyface with a full-grown beard. Crazy.
I didn't know he could grow any facial hair by how he looked, and I mean, that beard is pretty fantastic.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, and that sucks because I don't have a baby face, but I also can't grow a beard like that, so I'm stuck in the middle, which sucks. Arizona to me showed, we didn't know what tier as far as title contender they were going to be, but the way Cole Pete looked, Arizona's right there with BYU, with Houston, with the Kansases, with whoever you want to throw in as a favorite to win the Big 12. Yeah, Houston or Arizona, I think we saw last night, has the ability to do it because Florida returned all three of its forwards from last season and was kind of touted coming into the season as the best front court in the country.
Yeah.
With Hauk, Condon, Chinyelu, and Arizona looked like the better team. Like, it wasn't a fluke after they got down, 10, 12 points to start the game. Once they came back, they really dominated that game for, about 25, like the last 25 minutes of the game. They really dominated. Craig. And then there was this other team last night that played, headlined by AJ DeBanza, Rob Wright, the third, Richie Saunders, I guess apparently was throwing up all day before the game. This guy named Keba Keita, who I thought he had a lot of energy last season. My gosh. I mean, if you've seen the social media short, that Kevin Young specifically was like, just had no words for Keba. He was so incredible. Craig, what were some positives from the game? And then maybe we'll take a deeper dive into maybe some things where we know BYU can shore up.
I think the biggest positive, of course, was, as you said, Kebakeda. I mean, the announcers got on to talking about him kind of later in the second half more so, and then every single play it felt like they would say Kebakeda right there for the block, or deflection coming off his screen, knocks the ball out off the guy's knee. I mean, some incredible dunks as well.
Yep.
And a huge block on the floor. I mean, you could break it down fantastically. There's just so much that he did last night, and it felt like he kind of carried this team on both ends. Even he set a couple of Gortat screens, down low to free up AJ, and I think Rob Wright on at least one. That's huge buckets
Rob
on the
Wright
stretch.
had the floater, but yeah, the Gortat screens was not something that we saw him do a whole lot of last season. Probably part of it was personnel, and another part of it is that he's just been working on that part. And boy, has he taken a leap, I would say. His defensive activity was at a 10. And he was a good defender last season, but he was like, you know, there's good defenders, and then there's great defenders that kind of change your team's defensive ability single-handedly. And he, with his activity, he looked like one of the best defenders in the country last night, and super exciting because this BYU team, we know they got talent that can score the basketball. One of the questions is, what are they going to look like defensively? Kebakeda said, well, I don't know what anyone else is going to do defensively, but I'm like, he legitimately won the game for them down the stretch with his screen setting and with his defense. Like and you said the announcers were talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, he was the best player on the court. Like, a court full of guys like AJ DeBansa, Rob Wright, Villanova has some good players too. He was the best player on the floor, and it stood out, which was, good to see. AJ, Craig, I thought he played really well for his first game, his first real live action in a college game that mattered. Obviously down the stretch, him getting to the rim, there was nothing Villanova could do to stop that guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the body, he's got the capability dribbling the ball. He really showed that off. I felt like honestly didn't feel like the best AJ DeBansa that we could have seen, and I think that's a compliment to him. He still scored 20 or 22
21.
points. Yeah, 21.
21, 9 of 18. So, I mean, 21 points on 18 shots is, you'd maybe like to see a little bit more points, maybe getting the free throw line and making your free throws a hair more than that. But you'll take it. You'll take it.
And it's incredible to say that I kind of felt like he could have done better, because he was the leading scorer on this team, led the offense a lot of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough to get some 3-pointers to drop, and when they weren't dropping, AJ DeBansa was the guy.
Yeah. Obviously, like, Richie I thought played okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't peak Richie, which, I mean, can you blame him?
No.
Apparently the guy was super sick. So, no takeaways from Richie other than he's a dog.
Yeah.
Like, he was still a dog out there. Rob Wright, really good at getting to the basket. Efficiency so far from what we've seen in like exhibition games, and like just want more efficiency from him scoring and facilitating the ball. But it's a completely new team basically, so there's gonna be a lot of pieces to figure out there. Craig, let's not pick them apart, but let's at least talk about the things that stood out to us. Me personally, 17 threes, got to get up way more threes than that in a basketball game. One of the reasons why Villanova was able to stay close in this one is they took 35 threes and made 10. BYU took 17 and made 5. And when you let teams hit 5 more threes than you, then that's how games stay close. So BYU is going to need to generate more threes this season. Hopefully Tyler Morris, Moo Davis, Richie Saunders are are all able to hit, lots of threes this season for BYU. We'll see. Hopefully, AJ and Rob Wright, who are not traditionally shooters throughout their career, can become more efficient 3-point shooters. I thought there were a couple times where AJ had looks from three, but decided to take it to the basket instead. We just however they do it, they need to generate more threes than what they did. I know Kevin Young knows that. Kevin Young's a lot smarter basketball coach than me, and we know last year that he really stresses paint points and points behind the 3-point line, or shots at least. And so interesting to see how that kind of unfolds going throughout the season. Was there anything that stood out to you that was like, oh, like this might be concerning going, like something that's concerning to look for going forward?
I'm probably not expecting it to be too concerning throughout the season, but I did think that this team was a little it just felt very uncomfortable. Felt like when it was getting close, even not too close to near the end, it still seemed like there was a little bit of a panic with the way that they were playing, the way that they kind of were missing some assignments and things that they could have definitely done better. The offense didn't look super fluid near the end.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of ball movement, especially in the second half. Which, sometimes defenses just stay home on shooters. That's just what happens, and you just have to beat your guy one-on-one and get to the basket. BYU has more of those guys than we've ever seen on a roster before. But yeah, I definitely agree. And it's all the great thing about college basketball, unlike football, you lose a game or you don't play well in a game, it's not the end of the world. You got 30 of them. So you got a lot of time to get better. And I'm excited for game one. Absolute success. Get the win in Vegas. Figure things out. Obviously, we still have UConn on the schedule. We have Big 12 play on the schedule. So there's going to be plenty more times where we're going to get to see what this BYU team is truly made of. But Craig, after our basketball break, let's get back into the football. We have, let's see what we have this week for the Big 12. Like you said before, let's see. Where do we want to start? Iowa State, TCU. Let's start there. Iowa State, TCU.
Yeah.
1:30 on Fox. TCU's at home. I feel like we've kind of forgotten about TCU, like collectively.
Yeah.
They're 6-2. Like they're I mean, they lost to Arizona State and they lost to, who's their other loss to? Did they end up losing to Baylor? Did they win that game? They lost to Arizona State. They lost to Kansas State. Yeah, kind of after the Kansas State game, we were like, okay, we're just gonna write this team off. But no, they're still 6-2. They're like the least talked about 6-2 team in the country, probably. Like they could easily go on a run and finish the season 10-2. And if either Texas Tech or BYU slips up, or heck, maybe they come into BYU or come into LES and put up a performance, they're still very much alive because of who they play this season to have a shot at the Big 12 championship game. Iowa State, we've seen they're still giving teams their best shot, ASU, BYU, but they haven't been able to get it done. Craig, who do you like Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I like TCU, as you've said. They've been under the radar. I think that this offense is probably going to have a pretty high performance game against this Iowa State defense.
Yeah, they like to throw, and Iowa State does not like to defend the pass.
Yeah, I mean, BYU put up a pretty big number. They've been giving those up pretty consistently recently, and that's why they've been dropping games. I think TCU is probably going to be able to take advantage of that home game as well. TCU's probably got a lot of motivation after. I mean, they're not being talked about. They probably know that they're kind of the better team and should win this game. And Kevin, you look at TCU's schedule coming up after this Iowa State game, especially. They play at BYU, at Houston, and home against Cincinnati. All teams
Whoa.
who are in this Big 12 title race who have a shot.
Wow.
They could really change the outlook of this conference single-handedly.
Yeah, I mean, you win those 3 games and you have a really good shot at being the Big 12 championship game. Really good shot because you'd have tiebreakers over BYU and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So that would be exciting, wouldn't it? That's yeah. So TCU is definitely like you said, they're the team to watch because they kind of not the road to the Big 12 championship game doesn't go through TCU, but if TCU is going to have a hand in whoever's in the Big 12 championship game to end this season, that's for sure.
Yes, no doubt.
We have Colorado, West Virginia. Both of these teams are 3-6. I don't think either of these teams are making a bowl game. Colorado's going to West Virginia, and honestly, Craig, after the last 2 Colorado performances that we've seen, both at home, I think West Virginia is probably going to hang a big number on them, even though I don't think West Virginia is much better of a football team.
Yeah, I mean, West Virginia's coming off that big win against Houston. They were playing another team. I'd be like, yeah, they had the huge game, a lot of emotion coming off that. But, I mean, I think you just point to Colorado with how bad they've been. I mean, maybe they can turn this around at all a bit. You know, they're still guys playing football. They have talent, but, you know, just the performances that they've had have been so terrible that it's hard not to think that something similar at least is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Friday night we have Houston UCF. Barring anything crazy, I think we both expect Houston to go in there, play super boring football, but effective, and win this game probably like 24-10.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, Vegas has UCF favored.
What?
So
no, I did not see that.
They are 1.5 point favorites. Of course, Vegas does not know all. We know.
But that's someone knows something that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean.
Wow. All right. Well, I guess I was planning on going on a date Friday night, but maybe now maybe now the date is watching UCF beat Houston. Who knows?
You just got to go to a restaurant where they're playing football or something.
Okay. Back, yeah. That's right.
Position yourself perfectly.
Hopefully the restaurant doesn't have YouTube TV. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because this game's on FS1, so this one's fine. But I don't know if I've ever seen FS1 on a restaurant TV unless I'm at a sports bar. Then of course they have FS1 up. Kansas, Arizona. At Arizona, I'm rolling with Arizona at home.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona is not that big of a favorite in this game, about 5 points, but according to Vegas, but I have them winning by a couple possessions. As we talked a little about earlier, I think this Arizona team is very, very good. The record may not show exactly how good they've been. At times, they could be better. I think Kansas has been struggling a lot recently. They've won a couple games against some pretty weak opponents, and I just think that Arizona's all around a better team than Kansas is.
Yeah, I think so, especially defensively. Like, I just don't think Kansas has a very good defense whatsoever. They gave up 37 points, lost Cincinnati, gave up 42 to Texas Tech, gave up 42 to Kansas State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State put up 21, and Oklahoma State's offense is not that good. So 21 points is a lot to be given up to Oklahoma State. So, yeah, I think Arizona, I think like you do, I think Arizona's going to roll. I think it's going to be, we've seen Arizona, last week definitely put up some points. So they're not afraid. Their receivers are good. Like Wheatley's good.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be kind of like a 30 to 14 kind of game, for sure. Craig, last but not least, maybe we should have started the podcast by previewing this game.
Yeah, maybe.
But we hopefully people were staying on long enough to listen to us get to this point. You know, we're trying to retain
Yes.
you. So that's why we did BYU Texas Tech at the end, because we want you to watch the whole thing in all of its glory. And if you watched all of last week's episode, you know that it's glorious, right? We're insane. Yes, but it's glorious. Craig, BYU Texas Tech, give me your unfiltered thoughts about this game.
Ooh, unfiltered.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm guessing that this game's going to be probably actually a really gritty, low scoring game.
I'm kind of feeling that as well.
And I think that BYU is going to be able to pull it out.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I think that. I guess there's a lot of misbelievers out there that think that that's not going to happen. But I think that BYU will. They'll be able to show that clutch gene late. And this game's going to be not only the best game in terms of matchup in the teams, but in terms of the game.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Texas Tech's front seven versus BYU's offensive line.
Yes.
So I think the thing I'm most excited to see. Here's some not keys to the game, but things that I'll be looking for. BYU can't start slow. This Texas Tech pass rush, if you're behind and you're forced to throw, or if you're in 3rd and long situations, whatever the case is, that Texas Tech pass rush, I don't care what offensive line you have, that Texas Tech pass rush is going to create some havoc, cause some disruption. BYU, as good as the offensive line is, if Texas Tech's able to tee off against them, I think that's advantage Texas Tech. But with that being said, Craig, I think BYU's run game should be able to do pretty well against those pass rushers. So, and hopefully, you know, we got Jada, we got Gentry, they're able to lean on them and be able to run the football, maybe keep it a lower possession game.
Yeah.
Get the ball to LJ, get the ball to Enoch Nawahine, get the ball to Rex, kind of keep the ball on the ground, you know, protect the ball. Texas Tech is really, really good at forcing turnovers and forcing fumbles. So ball security is going to be at an all-time high importance, even more so than it is in any football game. Like, Texas Tech turns you over.
Yeah.
They punch the football out. That's what they do. BYU doesn't turn the ball over. I feel very confident they win this football game, right? And then the last thing, it's special teams. You and I said we think this game is going to be kind of a slugfest. It's kind of be low scoring. Well, you know what helps you win slugfest games, Craig? It's a big Parker Kingston return. It's a fake field goal that gets you into the red zone. It's Sam Vanderhaar pinning the ball at the 1 yard line instead of the ball bouncing in the end zone for a touchback. Any one of those plays completely changes the outcome of a game like this, and I love BYU's special teams.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it against Utah and Iowa State the last 2 games. We've had 2 times where we've gotten an extra possession because the balls hit off a Utah or an Iowa State player on a punt. I mean, those plays, they're so important, and just any lack of performance or any gap that there kind of has been in your offense or defense up to that point, it kind of takes it away, and it levels the gap in any way. And those plays were huge, and yeah, as you said, there's a lot of room for BYU special teams to show that they're one of the top units in the nation.
Yeah, super excited. We haven't seen a lot of Sam Vanderhaar because the offense has been so good. If we see Sam Vanderhaar more this game, he's going to showcase that he's an absolute weapon in special teams. Craig, the last thing, this BYU offense is going to or BYU defense is going to have to defend Texas Tech's offense. They like to throw the football, and Trey Alexander says he can't wait. He can't wait. Give me your final score prediction, and give me Like, is there any certain player that you're watching extra closely this game for them to have a significant impact on the game?
Yeah, so score, I'm going to go 20-17, actually. BYU gets the win. And in terms of who I'm watching, I think not just a single player, but the cornerbacks room, as you said.
Yep.
I mean, I really like this quarterbacks room, as I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
We had Trey on. He sounded very confident.
Surprising.
Yeah, of course.
Surprising.
Of course he sounds confident, but I think he's correct. I think BYU is able to kind of make Baron Morton uncomfortable and in some of these throws, and able to capitalize on a team that throws the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And is going to try and throw at our top guys that I really think are going to win this game for BYU.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, having guys in the secondary come up and make plays is going to be really good. The guy that I'm kind of watching is I think it's Jack Kelly. Can Jack Kelly make a game-changing sack, tackle for loss, potential turnover forcing type play? Like, is Jack Kelly going to be able to make a play that significantly changes this game? That's a layup as far as a player to watch goes.
Yeah.
So I'll give you inside BYU football. Inside BYU football. I think Preston Rex has got to watch.
Okay.
Offensively. I think if there's a guy that is going to make a surprising explosive play, I think it's going to be Preston Rex. I think maybe he finds the end zone. You know, maybe on a little wheel route, maybe on a little screen pass, third down, where BYU sets it up right. Rex gets the ball and takes one, and has an explosive that gets BYU a touchdown. That's what I'm looking for. I think it would be his first career touchdown. I can't remember if he's found the end zone or not this season.
I mean, maybe against Portland State, but we saw him against Utah. We ran like a little fake tornado reverse. I mean, the bag's going to be fully open.
Oh yeah, every trick play that BYU's had in the bag this season. I mean, hopefully, we still want them to be playing. Let's see, 3, 4, at least 5 more games this season. we want at least 5 more games this season. So maybe not every trick play, but maybe Parker Kingston touchdown pass.
Yeah, I mean, it could be any player. I think any player that gets minutes could have that game-changing play in these big games. I mean, players make plays and they become kind of legends because of it.
Yeah,
and we remember it. And I think I love that Preston Rex pick. We love
the underdog, the unsung hero, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking earlier with Justin Kirkland about how awesome the Dodgers series, the Dodgers Blue Jays series was. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why I said thank you. It was to no one. But we saw Dodgers Blue Jays and how you can have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. You can have,
Teoscar
Hernandez, Muncy. But it's Miguel Rojas and Andy Pages that make the 2 biggest plays of the season, arguably, to tie the game and then save the game for the Dodgers in the 9th inning. So, yeah, we're going to see who the 9th guy is for BYU. And guess what? We're probably going to see who the 9th guy is for Texas Tech, too.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great football game. Take BYU 10.5. I feel like that's free money. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm an idiot. But after talking with Trey Alexander, I think BYU is going to win a national championship, because when you listen to that guy talk, you can't help but believe. And this team believes. And that's honestly the most important thing, is this team believes they're going to stay in the fight for 60 minutes. They're never going to quit. And Greg, that's it for another episode of Coup Connect. Go like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if we're on Facebook. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to KooConnect.com. Please, we're telling you, please subscribe. It's $10 a month, and goes to help the players. We're doing this for the players. Money we make off this podcast, which is not a whole lot, that money is going to the players. We're doing this for the players. That's our mission here at KooConnect. We're trying to help these guys win football games. We're trying to get the best players to come to BYU, trying to get the best players at BYU paid. And if you want to see more of Trey Alexander, Justin Kirkland, guys like that, please subscribe, and we're going to try and get you as much access to the players as we can, and as much access to the program as we can. That's why we're called KooConnect, because we're trying to connect Cougars to you. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Go Cougs.